That was me or a fish? That was a fish. A little bit better one. We got a whole mouth of that jerk bait. Look at that. When they want a jerk bait, they eat it. Guys, this is Gene Jensen. I'm going to talk about how to follow fish in for the pre-spawn. You know, it's a little bit late for me to show you what they looked like a week ago, but I think I can explain it. But basically just how to stay up with them as they're moving in. Nice little 2.5 pounder. These males have moved up into this pocket and they're feeding up, getting ready to spawn. But I'm gonna stay here and catch a few more just for fun. And I'm gonna sit down and kind of show you on the electronics what I'm looking for and the kind of things I do to find and catch these fish. If you look in the back of this pocket, there's actually a creek coming into it. And one of the things I focus on in early spawn, early pre-spawn, are the places that actually have water coming into the back of it, not pockets or things like that. I tend to find more fish in places like this. And that creek arm is coming right in underneath that dock right there. And so that's the place I look for on the map. It kind of helps me narrow things down. If I don't see a creek on the map, I don't see a actual creek channel going up into the pocket, up into the cut. I don't pay any attention to it. I just feel like those first fish that move up those creek channels. Then once the water warms up and gets into the 60s and they start spawning hard, then the second wave tends to go into the pockets. Ooh. Barely hooked. Come on. Another good fish. And so when I'm looking at a map, that's what I do. I mean, I just go up the creek channel. Now, ideal spawning temperature is low 60s. They tend to move up and really start feeding good. It looks like somewhere around the low 50s, 52, 53 degrees. But even 40, 45, 50, we didn't get below 45 this year. So, but even that low of a temperature, I'm looking up those creek arms, but I'm looking deeper. I'm looking at junctions of creeks that come in, and I go out and I look over that deep water. And if I see a lot of fish on my electronics, I keep a note of that, or I mark it. And then as the water warms up, those fish, you come up to that spot again a week or two later, those fish are gone. Where'd they go? Up the creek arm. And as they move up that creek arm, it makes them easier and easier to find. And really, once you find them, especially these males, when the water temperature gets into the low 50s, once you find these males, it is game on. I've sat here and caught 10 or 15 without moving. None of them super fish, just fun fish. And what baits do I use? I use search baits. I use spinner baits, rattle traps, chatter baits. I'm running the bank. If it's low 50s, I'm running it slow. Once it gets up into mid 50s like it is today, 55, I'm going a little faster. I'm going to use a jerk bait until it gets to about 60-degree temperature. Main reason why I'm using a jerk bait is because I saw these fish back in this pocket schooling, chasing bait fish. And this is the ideal time to do this. There's a bunch of them feeding. All right, now let me show you. This is where map study comes into play, all right? Now, here's a major creek. Let me zoom way out. All right, major creek. of this lake, okay? So I know the creek arm runs right here. You see 50, 54, that's a deep part, spot like that. And then on a paper map, which I don't have with me, I know that there's water running into the back of these, and a lot of times you just gotta go look. I know there's water running in the back of this pocket, and there's one running in the back of that pocket. And so about 2 weeks ago, I saw the fish hanging right here, right along that creek channel, and there's another ditch or a channel that runs right out here. And I saw a bunch of fish hanging out right here. Water temperature was high 40s. And so I just made note of it, okay? And they were right out here, made note of it. And then when I came back today, water temperature was 53 this morning, or 53, 54 this morning. And so I noticed that they weren't there anymore. So I went right up this creek arm. Went right up the creek arm. I checked all along this bank, nothing here, got right here, and there they were. And I'm imagining they'll probably be right there too, and I just haven't fished it yet. So that's kind of what I look for. Let me zoom out and show you another example without all my trails in the way. Okay. All right, let's go. This is Dorden Creek, okay. Now, creek channel, we'll zoom into where it's a little bit more detailed. Creek channel runs in right here. I know there's a creek that splits. So 2 weeks ago, I would have checked right here, or right here, anywhere along this creek channel until I found the fish. Then once the water temperature starts to go up and starts to raise, they disappear. They go up the creek arms, okay? And the kind of places that I focus on are, let me rearrange my camera stand. All right. Now the kind of places that I focus on is places where the creek channel swings up close to the bank. You know, it doesn't always show you on your map. It gives you an idea, but I try to stay. You know, look for the steepest bank. Look for the steepest bank along anywhere really, and that'll tell you where the creek channel is the closest. And then I throw reaction baits, chatter baits, rattle traps, jerk baits, things like that. Because for some reason this time of the year, those males and those females are more apt to hit something that's real jerky, something that's got a nice erratic action. You know, if you want to know how to fish that how I fish that rattle trap this time of year, go watch my rattle trap video. But okay, so let's go over it from beginning to end. You locate them along the creek channel. Then you follow them up the creek channels or up the wherever there's water coming in. I go and I look on the map and I find the pockets and the places where it has water or creeks running into the back of it. And then I just follow that cut or that creek channel on up with my electronics till I start seeing fish. And then I start looking for where that creek channel bumps up against up against the bank or comes up close to the bank. And I fish those key spots, and that's where your big females are going to be hanging out. Now, another thing that I've learned from some people who are a lot better than I am is that in the pre-spawn, when the water temperature gets up into the high 50s, you'll start to see these males in these pockets like this, and you'll go along, you'll be catching males on the bank. Keep catching males or keep getting males to bite or what anyway. You see them making beds. Well, ooh, I don't know if that was a fish or not. Anyway, so what I do is I get something and I throw it right down the center of this ditch or a ditch like this. Jig or any kind of a creature bait or crankbait, anything. Right now I'm just throwing the jerk bait, but just throw something down the middle of the ditch because those females will be down in that deep water just waiting for the temperature to get right to move up to spawn. I want you to notice, well, it's kind of hard to notice on a GoPro, but the back of this pocket doesn't have any water running into it, doesn't have a creek running into it, and I haven't got bit a single time. So that's kind of where I get my theory as to say that the first places they move up are the places where the creeks are running in and where the water's running in, and that's it's proven true for me every single year. So take it the way it is. That's just how I find them, and that's how I stay consistent. So anyway, let's go find a place where creek's running in. Little one. So where I'm fishing right now is a bend in the creek arm. Point comes out and the creek arm swings right up against the bank. So it runs right up against this little point that sticks out. There was a fish right there. Almost predictable. Wrong color water for a jerk bait, but there's a fish. Not a big one. A nice fish. All right, I'm gonna try to explain what I'm doing here, okay? If you look right here, this is kind of a steep bank. It tells me the creek channel runs right up against it, but then it goes to a nice shallow bank. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. What this creates is the creek channel swings right here, swings right up against the bank. So right there creates a point. And the fish like to stack up right where that creek channel swings right up in. They'll stack up from that point all the way along this bank. And when it swings back out and goes across the creek, they'll stack up right on that, right where it swings back out. Okay, when you hear the term channel swing, that's kind of what they're talking about. Okay, I should catch some more fish right up over there. And I caught, what, three or four fish right here off of this point. So hope that kind of explains a little bit. That's kind of what I look for as I'm moving back into a pocket. When I see a spot like that, I stop and I give it a little bit more time. And then I hit the trolling motor back on high, and I go until I see another spot like that or see another place where the creek channel swings up. Just how it, how I find my fish anyway. So let's keep fishing. Well, first of all, sorry for the sun being in your eyes. But basically what I'm doing is I'm gonna turn the trolling motor up and I'm just burning the bank until I get to a point or get to a place where or get to a place where the creek channel swings up against the bank. Then I'm gonna slow down. Once again, erratic action on any of the baits that I'm going to fish, or I'm trying to bump into anything. If I'm not bumping into anything, I'm doing a crazy retrieve. A lot of shad up in here. There's a school of shad right there. I mean, it's got everything. If I don't catch a fish in here, I'm going to be surprised. Bunch of shad in here. Goodness gracious. So I'm going to throw across this little point that comes out. See, the channel swings right here. Let it sink to the bottom. Because it's muddy, I want to stay close to the bottom or close to cover or something, because these bass are going to use that to relate to and to feel comfortable around. They don't like to be suspended out in the middle of muddy water. All right, now the creek channel makes a left turn. I mean, you can see it on the map, you can see it anywhere. So you know where it makes a turn left or right, that it's got to run up against that bank before it does it. So you can see that steep bank right there. I'm going to concentrate on that point and that steep bank that runs all the way there. I'm gonna work my way to it though. Now the only reason why there may not be fish back here is because this is almost all the way back to the spawning flat. So we may find some males here, but you never know. When you catch one male, you usually catch all males. If you catch one female, there's usually a bunch of toads there, okay? So anyway, I'm gonna throw across that point, try to get the bait down into the creek channel. I'm kind of throwing into deep water, bringing it up shallow. There's a fish. Ooh, that's not a little one either. Stay down. Not a little one. Be good to me. Yes. And guys, that's how you find them in the pre-spawn. Just like that. Oh, I love it. Absolutely love it. Whew. All right, let me move the camera around and get some good pictures. Good fish. Dang good fish. Man. Nice. All right. Let's let it go. Man, about 5 pounds. There she goes. That's how you do it. Well, like I always say, take somebody fishing. Introduce them to this wonderful sport that we enjoy. Share my videos on Instagram and Facebook and across social media. Share them with your friends. And man, more importantly, get out there and go fishing.
Hey guys, this video is brought to you by Prespawn Lures. I'm going to put the link to their website in the description, prespawn.com. While you're there, check out their rewards program. It's a pretty cool program. I couldn't do these videos without them. I mean, they're a great sponsor. So go check them out and support them. Thanks. Have a great day.